Ladies and gentlemen, it appears The Rock is teasing WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling working together. Or is The Rock just being funny on Instagram? We're going to talk about it. Plus, we got a first look at the WrestleMania 41 stage, and a top WWE superstar who re-signed with the company is coming out and saying that they're not wrestling anymore. So there's a lot to talk about, and as always, guys, I'm going to keep you updated along the way. But really, when it comes down to this Rock story, that's the one I really want to talk about, because a lot of people in the wrestling business have actually been predicting this for a while, and I'm going to tell you guys why I think it might actually be true. Okay, first things first, we're going to take a look at the WrestleMania 41 stage, because this is where we currently are at in the process of the entire show. Now, WWE has already began the construction this past week at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, and just off this first glimpse, it looks like WWE is going to do another high-profile big stage for the event. Now, obviously, it is too difficult to see what WWE is going to do here, but being that it's in Las Vegas, I definitely expect it to have some sort of theme with the gambling and casinos and everything that Las Vegas is known for. Now, the real question is, how much money is TKO really willing to spend on a WrestleMania stage design? We saw probably one of the coolest stages last year at WrestleMania 40 in California, and I genuinely like that look for what they did. But if I'm being incredibly honest with you guys, I don't know if I have a lot of faith in TKO spending a lot of money. This WrestleMania does have less tickets sold compared to last year, so maybe they are willing to do a little bit of a bigger stage to make it seem like more of a grand event. But I think ultimately, at the end of the day, with WWE, what they're doing here is so significant, because this image right here tells me that this stage is going to be relatively big, and that's the aspect that I probably didn't really expect. And so for me, the way that I kind of look at this is that WWE is in a situation where, less tickets sold. Do we try to make the stage look even bigger to fill up the void of people probably not sitting behind the stage? Or do they go for a wider set? Because if they go for a wider set and a lower profile, then if people aren't seated behind the stage, then you wouldn't be able to see them. So that is something to consider. But I think this is a good first look for the WrestleMania 41 stage. I think WWE, I'm always intrigued by this every year. I cover it every year because I just want to see what they do. There's always this belief that WrestleMania is going to have some grand stage, and there is always that expectation that exists. And because it exists, it makes me want to pay attention to see what they do. And of course, once we get more updates on this, I'll keep you guys updated. So if you guys aren't subscribed, you probably should click subscribe. I don't know if you guys knew this, but over 40% of the people who actually watch this channel aren't subscribed. And this is really insane, because we have hundreds of thousands of regular viewers who are coming back every single month, but some of you guys just simply won't click that subscribe button, so make sure you do. Let's talk about Becky Lynch. Guys, Becky Lynch is one of the most interesting stories in professional wrestling. We knew that she re-signed with the WWE. We knew that she was doing press and ambassador stuff for the WWE, but now she's speaking out publicly, and this is really interesting, because Seth Rollins said she would make a return when he was talking with Front Office Sports, right? And now she's going publicly doing an improv show. There was an improv show that she did Friday night, and the Ultimate Improv Show had her as they had her doing basically a special monologue, and she basically said, "I'm not wrestling anymore." I don't know. To me, I feel like Becky Lynch is lying to us. I think Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins walk out with Paul Heyman at WrestleMania. I think Becky Lynch is going to return as a massive heel. I think there was a massive need for Seth Rollins to turn heel and have a character change. So now I'm going as far as telling you guys right off the rip, I believe that Becky Lynch is doing the same. And I've actually been talking about this live on the Ango show, which we go live 12 p.m. Monday through Friday. And I just genuinely believe that Becky Lynch is playing with everybody. She's saying that she's done wrestling anymore. She says maybe one day, but no, I don't believe none of that. Becky Lynch is probably coming back to wrestling at WrestleMania. There's no reason why WWE would re-sign her to not do anything with her. And this could actually lead to the great swerve that I'm predicting. And the reason why I think the swerve actually makes a lot of sense, by the way, is because of the fact that Becky Lynch has not been on the bill to WrestleMania. So there would have to be a way for her to return in such a significant random way. And if she were to maybe help Seth Rollins beat CM Punk and Roman Reigns and align with Paul Heyman, that could be a massive, massive swerve. And I've read people's comments on the channel. I understand that some of you guys do not like this idea. That is completely fine. But what I will say is that Becky Lynch was somebody who was getting stale. I think Seth Rollins has been stale for a while. I think these are the things that WWE should be doing. You should switch it up. And Paul Heyman and CM Punk and Roman Reigns are too busy fighting for Paul Heyman. Seth Rollins, Becky, Paul Heyman, you add one more person in there and we can get a really, really badass feud. And by the way, don't forget about the final boss. He wants people to sell their soul. Who's to say that Becky doesn't do it? Who's to say that Seth Rollins doesn't do it? Be the WWE champion The Rock wants you to be. And, you know, for Becky Lynch constantly being that baby face, I think her being heel actually just makes so much sense. So when Becky Lynch says that she's done, I don't believe it, I don't buy it, and nor should you. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I'm even talking about this, because I am calling bullshit. Ladies and gentlemen, is Becky really done? I don't believe so, but you guys let me know what you think down below. And that brings us to the final boss, The Rock. Yep, this image right here, you know The Rock doesn't do anything for no reason. He's not going to just wear a New Japan Pro Wrestling shirt just because he likes it, but he just posted on Instagram a photo of him wearing the New Japan Pro Wrestling shirt, and there is a lot that meets more than the eye. Ladies and gentlemen, I truly believe WWE could be gearing up to working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, at this time, there hasn't been any confirmation that is the case, but we can't ignore the fact that Nick Khan and WWE were trying to work with New Japan Pro Wrestling before. In fact, it led us to Tony Khan going on TV calling out Nick Khan because there's only room for one Khan in the wrestling business. But let's just be honest, you know, the AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling relationship really isn't beneficial to New Japan. I haven't heard of any sort of increase in New Japan business. I haven't seen any sort of increase in New Japan Pro Wrestling with their NJPW World app. I mean, the reality is AEW and New Japan, it's a really weird partnership. Look, they just did NJPW Riot, and like that wasn't even that big of a success. And you have AEW stars working with New Japan. So I don't know what this will lead to, but what I will say is this: WWE working with New Japan Pro Wrestling is an interesting story to pay attention to. It is something that WWE, you know, working with Noah, this is a whole different company these days, guys. And for that reason, I genuinely believe, get a good look at me. I'm telling you guys right now, I genuinely believe that WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling could be working together. And if they could be working together soon, then maybe that changes things for AEW. Or maybe everybody just gets along and we get all these partnerships, which I honestly have no problem with either. But it could make a lot of sense. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you later.